How the Grinch Stole Christmas was released in November of 2000 and was directed by Ron Howard, which I didn't know until watching today, and also narrated by Anthony Hopkins, which was also a surprise to me today. I did not know that. I haven't seen this film in a very long time. And as a matter of fact, I haven't seen it in a long time because I never really enjoyed it. I've probably seen it maybe 4 to 5 times in my entire life, mostly when I was a kid and probably a teen. But I never really enjoyed it. I never had a problem with Jim Carrey's performance in it so much. But I don't know. It wasn't a film I would watch every year. It's not one that thrilled me or put me in the Christmas mood every time I seen it. I always got a lot more from the original cartoon personally, even though I hadn't really seen that one a whole lot either. Um, How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey just never blew my mind, you could say. So automatically, I thought it would be a perfect one to revisit because they recently released it in 4K. I saw it on Netflix. That's why I decided to check it out. And a lot of people talk about it, and I've seen plenty of reviews on it. Lots of mixed ones, good and bad. A lot of people love it. It's a lot of people's favorite Grinch. I thought it'd be perfect to revisit and the perfect time to revisit it. So, a lot of my memory of it was pretty much the exact same, and then a lot was new to me. Like I said, Anthony Hopkins and Ron Howard directing this movie, I never even knew, so that was nice to find out for the first time. We've got Bryce Dallas Howard showing up in here. Taylor Momsen, the version of Taylor Momsen that doesn't exist anymore, is this cute little girl. Seeing her today as a totally different character and totally different person and personality is hilarious. So I thought of that as soon as I started the movie. It's going to be like, yeah, back when Taylor Momsen was like completely innocent and not punk at all. You got the dad from The Hangover in here, which took me by surprise again. Alan's dad. He pops up in here as the mayor of Whoville. You got Molly Shannon in here, famous for Superstar and showing up in a bunch of random movies here and there as well. And then, of course, you got Jim Carrey, which probably is, in my opinion, the best part of this movie still. I always liked his over the top performance in it as traditional Jim Carrey style ever since I watched it for the first time. So that's never really been a problem for me. Problem is a harsh word. Like, I don't have problems with the movie. It's just, like I said, it's not one that I've loved throughout the years. But Jim Carrey's performance has nothing to do with that. Like I said, it's probably the best part of the film. I think what I've found in this movie today that I would compare to back when I watched it is just the visuals of it. I don't like the visuals. It feels like an ugly movie. And it's funny because watching this movie again, there's some things that it reminded me of that are kind of random, I would say. Like, the set design gave me a little bit of a Sesame Street vibe. The way everything was designed, the way everything was, the visual aesthetics of the sets, like the set design, the way they were staged, gave me a Sesame Street vibe, and it's weird because the plots and the writing and the acting and everything else doesn't remind me of Sesame Street at all. Just the visuals and just the sets themselves. And it's funny because I've always thought of reviewing one of my favorite Sesame Street specials for Christmas, Christmas Eve on Sesame Street. So kind of funny that this one gave me a slight. Maybe it's because the Grinch kind of reminds me of Oscar the Grouch. Could be that little comparison that brought that to mind. You get a Bare Naked Ladies song in here, which I forgot about, but as soon as they came on, I'm like, of course they would throw in a Bare Naked Ladies Christmas song. I loved Anthony Hopkins' narration. He fits the narration perfectly, his voice style and everything. One of my favorite scenes that, again, I had forgotten about is the Christmas light cannon when Martha is putting all the Christmas lights on her house with this cannon and she's just shooting them all in a row. And that scene came back to me and it was just like a big piece of nostalgia that I remembered when I first watched this film, and I absolutely loved it. And it's just a really cool scene too, the way she's just decorating her whole house with Christmas lights using a gun, pretty much. It was visually and stylistically hilarious. I also remember the echo scene where he's yelling at the. I thought it was the sky, so I have a little bit of a mismemory on this scene when he's in his Grinch lair or whatever, and he's yelling at the cave, and his voice is bouncing back at him, and then he's like, "It's funny that you're repeating everything I say, and everything," and then he's like, "I'm an idiot," and the echo is like, "You're an idiot." That was always my favorite scene, one of my favorite scenes as a kid, because it would always make me laugh. But I had a mismemory of it because I thought he was doing it outside and howling at the moon, and the echo was coming from the moon, but actually he's inside his lair and yelling at the cave, which makes more sense, but I don't remember it being like that. So mismemories, or as some people like to call them, Mandela effects for the conspiracy theorists, are kind of cool when you haven't seen something in a long time and something plays out differently than you remembered it. But regardless, the echo scene was hilarious and gave me a lot of nostalgia as that. This film uses dark humor in it a lot, but in playful ways. So all the humor is directed to kids for sure. But when you think about the humor, like for example, the Grinch loves to inflict pain on himself constantly. You have him putting his head in between the cymbals, and it's crashing on his head. He's like, "Oh!" So, and how he eats glass and just does a bunch of random shit to inflict pain on himself. It's a dark theme, but they definitely kidify it a lot, which is funny how they take dark elements and really put it into very mild, very childish kind of humor. I found a cancel moment in this film, which, again, funny story. The other day, my sister sent me this clip of something from the Disney Channel, and she's like, "Cancel Disney," because it was something along the lines of a boy wearing a dress that you wouldn't be able to put on screen today. And something happens in The Grinch where he takes that towel from the table and wraps it around himself, and he's modeling in front of the mirror, and then the dog barks, and he's like, "It's not a dress, it's a kilt, sicko," insisting that, boys don't wear dresses kind of thing. And it's all funny and it's all in humor. So, you know what? Cancel culture and woke culture and politics can go fuck itself. Anybody on this channel should know that right off the bat. You don't like it? I don't know, go check out something else that's politically correct, I guess. But I just find that whole thing ridiculous. But this is not a politics channel or right or left, so we're just talking about movies simply. I just decided to throw that out. And it's hilarious relating to what my sister sent me the other day, too. That this wouldn't be able to be made today, and so many things aren't going to be able to be made today, apparently. But whatever. Anyways, moving on. So basically, you have an extended version of the story of the original cartoon. You have a Grinch, he lives in his lair, he hates Christmas. In this one, he's invited to this, what do they call it? A cheermeister's ceremony, where they award the most cheerful Who in all of Whoville. And Cindy Lou Who goes up to the Grinch's lair because she's really interested in who the Grinch is, because the Grinch is always spoken about, and she always wonders why he doesn't like Christmas and why he avoids everything Christmas and why he's never around the Who people. And she really takes an interest in this. She's interviewing a bunch of people from town and the history of the Grinch and what happened. You get the backstory of the Grinch, of course, where he was a little kid, and this one time in school he was bullied heavily by the current mayor of present time and his, at the time, girlfriend Martha, who, when I was a kid, I also had a crush on Martha, so I don't blame the Grinch for having a crush on Martha at all. She's a cute girl. And he wanted to make a present, and then everybody bullied him at school because he tried to shave, and he cut his face while shaving, and then everybody's laughing at him, and then he's like, "I hate Christmas," and fucks off into the mountain and is never seen from again. And in present day, the Cindy Lou Who gives him an invitation and basically nominates him as the most cheerful Who in all of Whoville. So she, like, he has the award, so she invites him down, and he decides to go. And of course, he suffers some bullying there too, because the current mayor gives him an electric razor as a present and then proposes to the adult Martha right in front of him. And the Grinch is all upset because he thought that this would be his moment to shine in front of Martha by winning this award and win Martha's heart again, because the Grinch still has this crush on Martha. And I just wanted to mention too, again with the style, because like I said, it's the visual styles of this film that just it's an ugly style. It doesn't work for me. The Who's look not scary, but kind of gross in a way. It's weird. They just don't look appealing at all. They don't look cute. They don't look Christmassy. They have these stupid looking noses, and they're uglified. Like, it's weird. The women in the film, no offense to anybody because it's not the actress' fault, but they look like washed up porn stars basically. They all look like they're wearing Botox all over their face, and way too much makeup on all of them. And it's just they all look ugly. Everybody in this film, it just looks like an ugly dark. It has an ugly and dark visual style that I find strange for a Christmas movie that's supposed to be bright and about Christmas cheer and Christmas festivities. Like the music is all fantastic. I like the original songs in this Grinch film too. Where Are You Christmas? Great song. And the one that they sing at the end of the movie where they're all joining hands and singing, I forget what that song is called, but it's a great too. So all the Christmas magic is in this film, but it's just visually ugly. I don't like it, and I never did. I think that's what drew me away from the film when I was a child. But I did certainly enjoy this film the most this watching, and I appreciated Jim Carrey's character or acting and him as the Grinch a lot more than I ever did. So I really appreciated how he milked that character, and really stepped into the Grinch's shoes in a very, 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 very comical way. And his facial expressions are perfect, and he just brought that character to life in a hilarious way, which is what you need to do, kind of thing. I found that scene with the Grinch and Cindy Lou really stupid when Cindy Lou comes down and thinks it's Santa Claus because the Grinch is stealing everything from everybody's house, but he's dressed as Santa. And he's talking to her in the Grinch voice, and he's wrapping his arms around the tree so she can see his green furry hands. And then he pops his head even through the tree and starts talking to Cindy Lou Who, and she sees his full fucking Grinch face and she still thinks it's Santa. It's kind of dumb, but you kind of have to suspend your disbelief on that and just go with it, I guess. But I think my favorite scene has to be the Cheermeister ceremony and everything that played out there. How they're like force feeding the Grinch all these like treats and fruitcake and all this stuff, and like it's supposed to be a negative thing when the tree is lit on fire, but it looked cool. And even though, like I keep mentioning, that the sets don't work for me visually, they look ugly. The way scenes play out is very artistic still, and I liked everything in the Cheermeister's ball, or whatever you want to call it, ceremony, festival, and I liked the very end when the Grinch comes down and he actually like apologizes for everything. He brings everybody's gifts back, and the way that played out too. Like I like how he said, "I stole Christmas and I'm sorry," and then some runner of the town, I don't think it was the mayor, but somebody said, "Oh, he confessed. What is his punishment and everything?" And then the cop is like, "Yeah, I heard him loud and clear. He said he's sorry. That's why we should forgive him." And that's great. That's a great way to end the story, is on forgiveness, which is a big Christmas theme. And I liked how they played that scene of forgiveness, because they really wrote it well and they really executed it well for kids and adults in a way where I remember that scene very specifically as a kid. It's one of the scenes that I actually kept in my memory in the movie. And it works. It works perfectly. And the scene where he's growing his heart too, it grew three sizes or however they put it. Like I said, Anthony Hopkins is a great narrator in this. And then Jim Carrey's acting when his heart is growing. I'm feeling. Because he's acting like he's dying. But his heart is actually growing, not stopping. But he's acting like it's as if somebody would if their heart is stopping. It's funny. So yeah, it's a cute movie story wise, and it's well directed and well written and well executed story wise. I just wish the visuals were different. And again, I'm repeating myself a bit, but it's funny because it reminds me of so many other things that I really like visually, such as Sesame Street, such as other things. And maybe it would work. This visual style would work in a different themed film, but I think with what they were going for execution wise versus what they were doing visual wise just have a little bit of a clash to me, and it doesn't fit perfectly like two puzzle pieces would. But it definitely, this film was most enjoyable for me on this watch, and I enjoyed it the most compared to any other time that I've watched it. So this is one that I would certainly purchase. I don't own it. That's why you don't see a physical copy here in my hands, because I always show physical copies. But I watched it on Netflix, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I revisited this, you could call classic of a film now. And, in a different light and discovering different things about the film. Like I said, Ron Howard directing it. He directs a bunch of different types of movies. I'm one that really enjoyed Hillbilly Elegy. I know that film got a lot of negative reviews from people, but I thought it was fantastic. And he does all kinds, drama, thrillers, kids movies, Christmas movies, everything. He's good. So, yeah, How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000. If you haven't seen it in a while, go check it out. If it's one of your favorites, I totally understand. If you hate it, I also totally understand. There's a lot of things that is not going to be for everybody, more than the visuals. Some people hate Jim Carrey's performance. Some people hate, everything else about it. But yeah, outside of it's the Who's that they need to fix most. I don't like how the Who's look. And maybe they'll probably creep out a lot of kids too. I'm sure they have over the years. And again, Taylor Momsen, God bless that girl. Totally, totally, totally different as a little girl than she is today. Go look up Taylor Momsen if you don't know who she is today. It's hilarious, the change. But yeah, that's all I got right now. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more when I can. Check out what's on the channel. Stay tuned for anything that's coming up. And until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.